There we go. How about now? There is too much going on with this software, but hopefully you guys can hear me. Throw some thumbs up or whatnot if you can. Let's see. Vic subtitles will come on at the end. So let me type that so Vic can see that, guys. I believe he's part of one of the deaf crews here. Oh my god. All these notifications, I can't even see what I'm typing right now. Let's see. Alright, 19 of us in here. Guys, we've got this here, Ford motor mount. We've sold quite a few the past couple days. So they're going to start showing up there. We just wanted to kind of give you an idea of what you got. When you look at something like this, the tolerances from, obviously you guys know, Vanquish are going to be very tight, very good. And then tolerances from, Hot Racing are usually fairly good. And then the Chinese brand and all that, it all depends. So to get the tolerances that'll work with all, we didn't want to make it super sloppy or super big, in the holes and all that. Steven Reaper chassis, yeah, that's right. But I want to show you guys here what it comes with. You've got your two plates, and they're made to go on any SCX10 transmission. Sorry, I forgot to tell you guys. It's made to go on these. It's made to put your motor forward. Off to the side, keep it low, keep it out of the way. It works great with the Reaper chassis. We do love it for sure. But back to it. These are 3mm thick carbon plates. This is what we use to make most of our chassis out of. This is just the plain stack, or the plain weave, or what they call the flat stack. The Reaper chassis is actually made out of a different material, but we're not here for that. But in the package, you're going to get your two plates. You're going to get 3 standoffs, aluminum standoffs. You're going to get 4 spacers, 4 stainless lock nuts. You're going to get 5 10mm, 3mm stainless button heads, 4 30mm stainless button heads, and 1 10mm countersunk here. Now this is our bare hot racing transmission here. This is one I just had laying around. I wanted to try to fit it to this after I've already mocked it up on the Vanquish one, just to make sure everything work good on both of these brands. This is the most two that I see. I'm going to be honest, I haven't tried it on a Chinese version or whatnot, but we did do it for these two, and it seemed to work fairly well. So back to it. So we're going to start, what I always start with is the back plate here. Once you take your spur gear and everything off, obviously don't lose your little pin and whatnot. Tools, I usually do everything by hand most of the time, but we do use this when we can. But we're going to start with the back plate here, and if you look at it, you'll want your 2 holes, if you got your transmission facing you, to the far right, okay? So the 4 bolts that you're going to use to start with are going to be your 30 mils. So drop your 30 millimeters right through these holes. Now your 30mm, if you can see it on this one, it goes on the bottom hole right here. So on this double stack, so your 30mm will go here. Okay, so I usually leave it like that. Put your spacers on. Dropped one there. And then the 4th spacer here. Now this is where it gets a little tight sometimes. So these are all pretty much... Oh, and I forgot to tell you guys, on the hot racing transmission, let me see, it's hard to try to keep it to where you guys can see it as much as possible here. Now on a hot racing transmission, I don't know if any of you guys run this or whatnot, and you can kind of see how the plate gets a little off here, but we're going to push that plate all the way back while these are loose. A hot racing transmission is actually threaded in this spot. The Vanquish isn't. You know, the Vanquish is just a straight push through, but the hot racing is actually threaded right here. So we do have to run that one down, which I'm going to do that one with a drill for time's sake, which is almost dead, so hopefully we make it through this. So that one is all the way there. Oops. Lost my little pen, but I'm not worried about that right now. And then this is where these get a little tight sometimes. We can probably back that off a little bit, because since it's threaded, it kind of puts a little tension on the plate right now. But if you've got one of these little drills or whatever, these holes, or what you're feeling when you're going through this, is usually the bolt's just sitting on the carbon fiber because it's a little tight. But just turn it. You guys see it goes right through. The same way with this one, right through. So it might be rubbing a little bit on the carbon fiber because it's under tension, and then the hot racing one I found did that just because this is threaded over here, so it puts a little tension on the plate itself. So once these go all the way through, you've got those. We're going to start with your lock nuts on the back side. Go ahead and at least get them on by hand for yourself. All hail the Reaper. That's right, Kevin. I think I might have one left. I don't know if the website says it or not. I'll have to look. I may have miscounted there at the beginning, but I may have one left. All right, MIP for the ones that are kind of open that you're going to be able to get those to. This one's threaded, so you know it's not going to go anywhere. Make sure it's all the way down before you really fully tighten the lock nut on there. So that one's good and tight. We'll go ahead and tighten that one. This one right here, we might have to put a wrench on the back side. We'll see. Yep. So let's go ahead and get that one tight. Okay. And if you don't have one of these, I suggest getting one. I'm sold out right now. I actually just sold them out. But this is the stainless one. He does make titanium ones now also. But this is the little wrench from Spider Pig. And in tight situations like these where you can't get your MIP end on or whatnot, it's real nice to have. Just be able to put the box in on one side and then be able to go ahead and just tighten her up and be done. That way you don't really have to worry about trying to hold it with a pair of pliers or anything like that. The same way with this one. If I can get it on there. He does make very tight tolerances on his wrenches, so good snug fit. You don't have to worry about it not holding it in place, anything like that. Alright, so those are all in. Good to go. My little pin did fall out, so let's go ahead and see if we can put that back in there for the time being. Tiny little pin. There we go. Let's keep that sideways. We'll go ahead and push this on there so we don't lose it. And this guy's this has got the typical slipper pad that you would see on a transmission. The Vanquish had its standoff. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but it had its standoffs in there and it worked great. And it does push the spur gear a little bit more forward, which does put the spring kind of in a little bit more in the groove. When you tighten the spring down, you know, obviously they're not always straight, so it does just barely catch a little hair of that carbon fiber, but not a big deal. So that's on there. Let's move to our other plate. Now when you look at this plate, guys, you got your two regular and then you got a countersunk hole, okay? Actually, let's I forgot, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to stick with this one. Put your 10mm bolts through by hand. Thread your standoffs on. Saves you a little bit of time. Here's your other 10mm right here. And these standoffs are aluminum, and they are 4.5mm wide. So they're not big and bulky. They're not in the way. You don't have to ever worry about it might hit in a spur gear or anything like that. They're plenty far away for you to not have to worry about. There's your standoffs, okay? And at this point, before you put the front plate on, you'll want to put your spur gear on. So, spur gear and the rest of the slipper pad. Here's your spring. Oh, nut that don't want to go on. There we go. That. If you got your wheel wrench or whatever you got close, go ahead and tighten that all the way down, because who runs a slipper? No one. That's foolish. I'm just kidding. Some people do. I never do. I like instant power when I want it. I don't want it to slip. Got to learn that throttle control. So there's your other 10 mil. Your second 10 mil button head. And then this is where your countersunk comes in. Now your countersunk's down here, so you can actually push your motor out. You know, once it's fully down, your motor's not hitting a button head. If you're wanting to put some gigantic spur gear on there, or pinion gear, I don't know why, but you can. Tighten up your other button heads. There's that one. And really, guys, if you mock this up and everything looks good and you like how it is and all that, I would actually probably, I mean, we run them in a Reaper, no problem. But I would actually do a little blue Loctite on some of these. That way you don't have to worry about them ever coming off. But there you go. There is your forward motor mount from us. Like I said, it's just a little tight through the, you know, the larger bolts here through the 3 holes. Sometimes it did it with a little bit with the hot racing. That's why I wanted to make a video. Guys, don't be alarmed. You know, like I said, it's tight tolerances on everything. On the carbon fiber, but not so tight sometimes in the transmissions. Very tight in the transmissions when it comes to, you know, the Vanquish. So, but it does work with both. Don't be scared. Hit it with your little drill or your hand and just spin it. It'll go right on through. Not a big problem. But forward motor mount, SCX10 transmission, 3mm thick carbon fiber, aluminum standoffs, stainless hardware, stainless lock nuts. And that is your forward motor mount. If you guys have those parts want to assemble, I know, Mike, it's unbelievable. And some people will actually probably sit there and argue with it that they should. So I did put the kits together last night. I try to do them all at the same time. So we've got them all on the website for you, ready to go. If you have any more questions or if you have any problems with them, go ahead and hit me up. They should start hitting your guys' doors probably Monday. And once you get them installed, let me know. Make sure everything works good, and we'll go from there. Hey, I'm finally here. That's right, Moto. What time is it? Wow, I'm surprised you're awake there, Night Owl. But like I said, guys, if you got anything else, let me know. But there is both of them installed there on a VP trans, hot racing trans, ready to go. Thanks for coming in, guys. Appreciate it. Let me know if you have any more questions. We'll see you.